Hey, what's up everyone? This is Minnesota Mike back with you for another video. This is another one in my vlog series that I do through the Memphis Songwriters Association in conjunction with the blog that I write for them, talking all about songwriting and what has worked for various artists over the course of a handful of years, whether those songs have been hits or not. So this latest kick that I'm on is called Gold on the Tracks. And we are breaking down the remainder of the songs from Blood on the Tracks that we have not talked about in previous blogs. And the reason why we're doing this is because Blood on the Tracks, the greatest album of all time by Bob Dylan, is turning 50, did turn 50 on January 20th of 2025, was released on January 20th of 1975. So we have thus far looked at the songs Simple Twist of Fate. We looked at You're a Big Girl Now, Idiot Wind, You're Gonna Make Me Lonesome When You Go. In a previous blog, we looked at Tangled Up in Blue. We also looked at Meet Me in the Morning and Lily Rosemary and the Jack of Hearts. This week, we have also looked at the song If You See Her, Say Hello, and we looked at Shelter from the Storm. Now we're going to close out by talking about Blood on the Tracks. As a songwriter, in case you couldn't tell, Blood on the Tracks is the definitive album for me. This applies to the lyrics and simple arrangements, but also in terms of track order to tell a story. With that said, I thought for years that the album closed with Shelter from the Storm, putting some closure on an otherwise depressing saga. But that's just not how Bob operates. Buckets of Rain comes to grips with the fact that the narrator's love interest is gone, and even though he knows that she could still make him happy, she's gone, and he concludes that everything about you is bringing me misery. Yet he still says at the end of the song, I do it all for you, honey baby, can't you tell? Similar to my giddy excitement when I saw Montague Street in New York a handful of years ago, which is mentioned in Tangled Up in Blue, I was equally excited when I saw a Red Ryder wagon mural in Little Rock recently, so I could make a Little Red Wagon, Little Red Bike reference from Buckets of Rain, and it's filled with great lyrics like that. Melodically, Buckets of Rain is played with a capo on the 4th fret and alternates between the E, A, and B chords. This is a 1-4-5 progression. Instrumentally, the song uses acoustic guitar as well as bass guitar. I've mentioned throughout the blog, that Blood on the Tracks is dominated by sparse arrangements, allowing for the haunting lyrics to shine through even more. Buckets of Rain brings the album to a close with another such arrangement. In my research for this blog, and by that I mean the millionth time I searched it up on Wikipedia, I noticed something new to me. In early recordings of the album, Bob wanted to record the entire album with a full arrangement, a full band arrangement, but abandoned that idea when Mike Bloomfield couldn't keep up with the instrumentals. There are many different versions of Dylan's songs, both by him and other artists, and it's hard for me to imagine Buckets of Rain, especially with a fuller sound. After he finishes singing the last lyric, the song ends with an instrumental arrangement that wouldn't be nearly as powerful if backed by anything else. It's a haunting way to close out the already haunting album. Structurally, the song uses all verses, of which there are 5. It's a sad-sounding song, but truly only isolated lines throughout the song are sad, while the rest is really rather hopeful. So having an odd number of verses leads us to a false sense of comfortability, thinking his hope might pay off, since this is the last track of the album, but ultimately he concludes, life is sad, life is a bust. Like all things Dylan, I can only speculate, but I do know everything he does as a writer is intentional, so just simply concluding that there are 5 verses simply because that's all he needed to tell the story is a rather irresponsible guess, and I am not an irresponsible person. Buckets of Rain is embedded below, linked below, I should say, in this case. I know my blogs and vlogs tend to lead some of my readers and viewers down a rabbit hole, analyzing songs the way I do. While I love that I've had this effect on people, the whole point of this particular blog and vlog kick is to allow you to enjoy the whole album at once. So I've also included a link to the entire Blood on the Tracks album. That way, if you want to listen to the whole thing, then break it down, you are more than welcome to. Thank you so much for following me on this journey, but specifically this one. I don't normally dedicate this much time to a single album, but this album changed my life as a music lover and eventually as a singer, songwriter, and musician. There are many albums that you could study in their entirety to become a better songwriter, but to me, this is quintessential to your development as one. So happy listening and happy writing as always. I am Minnesota Mike. Make sure you check out all my other blogs on the Memphis Songwriters Association website, as well as all my vlogs right here on my YouTube page. Thank you so much for tuning in.